I love going to weddings, and I had a woman, we never even met, we just texted a couple times. She invited me to go to a wedding with her. So we show up, we met in the parking lot before the wedding to come up with a backstory. We came up with a thing that she had saved me from drowning in a pool that summer. I wanted her to look heroic. So we walk in, her friends are like, oh, Susie, you didn't tell us you had a new boyfriend? And I just got hit with wave. This is Susie's new boyfriend. Susie has a new boyfriend. And after a while, I just couldn't take it. Some guy came up and he put his arm around me. He's like, I hear you're Susie's new boyfriend. I said, yeah, man, we really love each other. She ever leaves me, I'll kill us both. Hold on. But from then on, you're Susie's psycho boyfriend, and everybody leaves you alone at that point. I had like 90 pounds of roast beef because nobody would get between me and the guy with the knife at the carving station. You know, it was kind of... Excuse me. So I figured out, I'm okay. I don't know how you talk to women. We had a really cold snap about 3 weeks ago, and it was freezing out. I was in a coffee shop in Manhattan, and this really older woman came in, and she was having trouble getting out of her scarf and hat and everything, her overcoat. So I stood up to help her, and she gave me a look, so I sat down. And then when she finally got out of everything, she looked at me and she said, I thought you were going to help me, young man. And I was just like, well, I was, but you gave me such a nasty look. I sat down, and she said, that was a look of gratitude. I hope you learned something. Yeah, I learned I don't understand women of any age. Just trying to be a nice guy, and then I thought I insulted you, and then I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just gonna leave. So I'll tell you this, I don't know what you say to a woman who's crying. It's a hard way for a comedian to start a bit. I'll tell you my worst woman crying story. Of course we were married, and no, we were, it was a big date. Walked her back to the front of her house, and I was thinking like, man, I think this chick's into me. And then I look over to her, and she just starts sobbing. Right, and my mind's racing. I'm thinking like, I'm sure this doesn't bother a guy in prison, but it was awkward for me. And I looked at her, I'm like, did I do something wrong? She's like, no, you're just the first guy I've been on a date with since my fiance Cleve moved out of the house. Yeah, cleave. Cleave is the word you use when you cut something in half. So I wanted to say something nice, but in my head I kept hearing cleave, 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 cleave. So I took a deep breath. She stopped me and she said, how long does it take to get over a broken heart? I know, only women feel comfortable laughing at that. Because the guys are like, wait, I might need to know this, actually. So you know that voice in your head? I summoned all my powers, took a deep breath, and it's hard because, you know, before I was a comedian, I was a salesman, and when you're full of crap, there's just so many directions you can go in. I wasn't gonna retire from sales and become a physicist, you know? And so I took a deep breath, and I looked her right in the eyes, and I said, I think one morning you'll wake up and you'll realize your heart was never really broken after all. There was just a little piece of it missing for a while. I know, right? I would have had it, but I laughed at the end. I know. I can write, I just can't act. Thank you guys very much. You guys
Local man robs Wendy's with alligator. We're the alligator boys now.
And the baby, if he's sitting with the bank, should be going, Mom,